allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mary, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Henderson?
Here.
Commissioner Capper?
Here.
Commissioner Branch?
Here.
Vice Mayor Holmes?
Here.
Mayor Adams?
Here. All right, the first order of business was approval of the minutes for the regular meeting, January 11th, 2017.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes for the regular meeting of January 11, 2017.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Capper?
Yes.
Commissioner Branch?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Holmes?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes. Next, ratification of bills for January and February 2017.
I'd like to make a motion that we ratify the bills for January and February 2017.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Capper?
Yes.
Commissioner Branch?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Holmes?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes. Going on to commission reports. I will start that out, and what I'm asking you first, and mainly if people are watching on TV tonight that live on the beaches, I'm asking you, please, don't kill the messenger. We, the town, are messengers of this, and I'm going to read a little short statement. We've narrowed down the letter that was sent and what we have to do as far as getting beach easements. Redington Shores being a beachfront property, the owners will be receiving documents concerning their property on the beach, and most of these have already been mailed out. A mandate has been issued by the Army Corps of Engineers to acquire easements from property owners to continue beach renourishment in the future, especially after a storm. This easement agreement needs to be executed by your signature and notarized. Expeditious handling is necessary to accommodate upcoming beach renourishment project. If there's any questions, you can come to Town Hall, we can give you a number, but the contact would be Sean Griffith with Pinellas County. His telephone number is 727-464-3164. And what this boils down to, if the easements are not signed, there'll be no sand. And if there's no sand, it goes back to like back in the 70s where the no beach. So we need those signed. They're not losing anything. You're not really giving up anything. You're just saying they can put sand up there. That's it. So. And the letter that's attached with the mail-outs is about 3 pages long, and Steve Andrews condensed it for me down to what I just read you, which is what's the basic thing of the letter. The other thing I would like to talk about, and I've mentioned it 3 or 4 times, is the undergrounding of Gulf Boulevard. We've been working on that for a while. Tonight, I have our contractors here, Steve Tart with CPWG, and Mike, say your last name again? Schalzer. Mike is actually a neighbor. He's the engineer, and he actually lives in Redington Beach. So, Mike, it's yours.
I'm Mike Stolzer with CPWG, and I'm here to give you an update on the undergrounding project through the 3 Redingtons. On January 16th, we had a meeting with Duke Energy to review our preliminary design that we had for the undergrounding project. At that meeting, we met the new project manager for Duke, Tara Miller, and we were given a new design by Duke, which we have incorporated into the plans. We're getting ready to submit, hopefully next week, back to Duke what we're considering the final plans. And once they agree, then we're going to schedule the final walkthrough with Duke and the other utilities, Frontier and Charter, to walk the alignment confirm any conflicts and finalize any issues with all three utilities. And then we'll be proceeding from there to complete the plans in full for all three utilities. Right now, we have another meeting scheduled with Duke. It's going to be Friday, February 17th, and that's going to be with the three Reddingtons to go over the binding cost estimates for the project. And I have here the plans as they are now, and I can leave them up there for you when we leave, so you can take a look at them.
Appreciate it.
Any questions for me?
Anybody have any questions? Now's the time. I will say, I said underground, I don't know how many people are aware we are not undergrounding the wires on the west side. We're removing the cross wires across Gulf Boulevard and the wires on the east side.
Correct.
Unless there's somebody out there that wants to loan us $5 or $6 million, we'll do the rest of it. But,
Give us my loans.
yeah, that's right, give us.
Right. Call it a
That's
grant.
why I have an attorney sitting there. Thank you, Mike, very much.
You're welcome.
Anybody has any questions? Thank you.
When is this supposed to begin?
Well,
Well, we'll,
we don't know.
once we get the plans, once we do the final walkthrough, typically, one of the other utilities will have some changes, either relocate and whatever. So we'll make those revisions, then we have to resubmit the plans, and we will submit them to FDOT, and Duke will have to sign off on the plans at FDOT to proceed from there to get the permit for the utilities. So that timeline, I can't really put my thumb on it, because I don't know how Duke is gonna, how they're gonna react and what their timelines are gonna
I'd
be.
say we're probably shooting mid-fall to maybe start construction. But that's if everything goes smoothly from here through permitting.
I will
That's
say, if I'm not wrong, I think, Steve, didn't the hurricane kind of slow Duke down?
It does,
Mhm.
for sure.
It
Because
really,
of-
yeah, it did.
Yeah. Yes, sir. You
Will there be
addressed that.
provisions in the contract to cover any penetrations of our sanitary lines or anything? Because we have some issues now all through the town to where utilities have penetrated the lines. And I have not looked at the TVing myself, but I know it's there. So I just want to know if the contract is going to cover that.
The contract,
Yes.
well,
Yeah,
contract.
if the contractor hits anything, the contractor will be
Yeah.
responsible.
Are we going to TV our sewer lines after you get through to make sure that we didn't hit anything?
That's not currently the plan, no. We'll know if we hit
I
something.
think it's something we need to look at.
Yeah, I think, and what you're mentioning, I think we only have two in town right now from the TV that was hit, and one of them's right across the street from my house. But,
I was just bringing it up.
No, no.
Something we need to look at.
all right. Well, that's, the extent of my report. And Vice Mayor Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For fire department services, by the way, I have Chief Burford with me tonight to handle any of the tough questions,
That's the level from Bishop. It's for every-
maybe all the questions. There was one non-emergency fire response for this time period with a response time of 8 minutes and 36 seconds. There were 4 emergency fire responses for this time period with an average response time of 5 minutes and 23 seconds. Under emergency medical services, there were 3 non-emergency EMS responses for the time period with an average response time of 4 minutes and 23 seconds. There were 9 emergency EMS responses for this time period with an average response time of 4 minutes and 52 seconds. And that concludes the fire services and the EMS report. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to for you to add a item under I'll give it during my reporting time, for some information from the floodplain Public Information Committee, or PPI Committee, on a floodplain management update. And I'd like to give that now, if that's okay with you.
Certainly, go ahead.
Thank you. And under CRS Community Rating System, which many of you are familiar with, the town has been a member of that program for quite a few years now, and we have endeavored to do all of the things that we could and to give the people the information so that they could do to help make their property less vulnerable to any disaster that comes our way. Obviously, the time to be doing that is like now, before they hit, not starting 1 June, although you can keep working until it does get here. But in any event, the PPI committee, which is public information, is doing a lot of work under that program that will also give us additional points for the CRS program. The CRS program gives you points, gives you discounts in your insurance on your property. And right now, I think we're down at around 15%. I think that's true, but Steve isn't here. But
That's
Mary, is that about right?
That's correct.
Yeah, 15% discount because we're a 7. I think we're a CRS 7. We're working down toward a CRS 6. And part of that point system committee, this PPI committee, will help us get there, as well as devising methods in order to get information out to the residents. For instance, they're working on the website, they're working on Facebook, they're working on hanging stuff on your doors, whatever they can to get information out to you, hopefully ahead of time, so that you can have access to the ideas and thoughts and things that you may be able to do to your property to help protect you against it before the next storm arrives. So there's a couple of them in the audience, but there's quite a large committees, around 10 to 12, I think, on the committee. They represent some of the professionals on it. We have some bankers on it. We have an insurance agent over here, Kim Har, and Har Insurance, I believe. And so she's in it for that. And we have other ones. We have residents. There's regular old residents that have for their input. We have Steve Andrews from the staff, who's the building official. They have to have an elected official, so I happen to be that one, but they do all the heavy lifting. And they let me just kind of sit around and support them when I need to. But they're a really good group, and they work very hard on it, and they've given me some information that they'd like me to pass on to you tonight. We live in a floodplain here, and in case you people didn't make an informed decision when you moved here and purchased, and didn't know you were moving into high-risk environment, you should have studied it first. Because this is a high-risk environment. This is like looking down the gun barrel. And there's no fooling about it. I mean, it's as serious as that. And there's a lot of things this is a floodplain, we live in it. We're in the hurricane evacuation zone A. There's nothing below that. That's A, that's the first one out. And the only ones that get lumped in with us are the mobile homes, wherever they live. But we go first if there's an evacuation call. So, and we're worried about people. That's what the people that's sitting up here are worried about, is getting our people out safely. We worry about the property later, but we're gonna get the people out first. But it's referred to as a special flood zone hazard area, sometimes referred to as SFHA. You'll see those initials, all caps, referred to as Special Flood Hazard Area. And that's what it is. I mean, out here at Gulf Boulevard, you're looking at about, I don't know, 4.5, 5 feet above sea level. That's not a lot. And if you want to be above BFE, you got to be up around, I don't know,
13.
Chris could tell me what it is over on the beach, but I know it's around A12 over here and 11 and a little bit more over there, but that meaning that you've got to be, BFE is X amount of feet above sea level, and so you're up around 12 feet, around 13 maybe over on the beach. before you walk on your first floor. So it's some things that you must consider when you're looking at these areas. We're in a Category 1 storm surge area, and that means it's going to hit us first. And the probability of a flood occurring in our community is 1 out of 4 for the next 30 years. Now, I'm not a person that likes to figure out probabilities and all that stuff. Matter of fact, I probably couldn't. But that doesn't sound like the odds of anything as good as what I'd like them to be. Anyway, that's what the numbers that they have come up with. And whether it's localized flooding in low-lying areas or storm surge, our town will be impacted. No doubt about it, it will be. Fortunately, flood insurance has been available to everyone here since the early 70s because Reddington Shores participates in the National Flood Insurance Program. There have been over 300 flood claims totaling $2,044,535 in our city since the program began, and we haven't had a direct hit. Matter of fact, I don't know of, the only one I know that even gave us a lot of damage was Alina, or any considerable amount of cost. And that was 80 miles up near Cedar Key. So it may not seem like a lot of money, but it's a small town, a lot of people didn't have flood insurance, so they had to pay out of their own pockets. So the lesson here is that there's about 2,160 homes, condos, and businesses in Reddington Shores. About 1,600 of you now have flood insurance, and that's great, but it really isn't enough. I mean, a lot of people that are sitting there on the ground in pre-firm homes that were built before the FEMA requirements and everything else caused you to have to lift them up, are sitting there, and they're going to be damaged. There's no doubt about it. And they get flooded, and it doesn't take the surge. I mean, we get flooded in here. Although we've done well with some of our projects, the stormwater drainage projects have alleviated a lot of that, but not all of it, as the people on 182nd and 180th know. Particularly, I believe 182nd is probably the worst. And we have a couple of people that are shaking their heads, yes. So, but anyway, you have an opportunity to buy flood insurance. Some people don't for different reasons. Some think they're covered under their homeowner's policy, they're not. And there'll be more that you'll be available to you at another time. Some think it's covered, some, it may be too, the price may be too high for them, and there may be other considerations that we're not aware of. But some key points that you need to take with you about just a little short discussion tonight. You can find out what your flood risk is, and you can do that. You can go on our website, and they can tell you where you can hook up with numbers that you can call and look up with the county, and it'll tell you just where you give them your address, and it'll tell you just what your flood risks are. And find out how much flood damage could cost you. There's a lot of things available to us out there now that we never had access to before this, that gives us a lot more information to work with. And you can get good flood insurance for your home business or rental. You should elevate your equipment, such as your water heaters, air conditioning units, and things of that nature, get them up off the ground. But there's a lot of things in addition to that, brochures that we put out here during hurricane season and before, that I don't know if they're out there now, but we always put them up before hurricane season. There's a lot of stuff out there, do-it-yourself things, and other things that you can talk to our building official about to help you, give you ideas on what you can do and what maybe you'd have trouble doing, and just to help you get started on things. And clear the storm drains around you. We've seen problems with that in some of our streets flooding, because the storm drains get full of leaves or branches or whatever else might be going down the streets, and people don't do anything with them and and it floods. So keep your eyes on that, and that's another thing that you can do to help yourselves. And always, you gotta get a plan. You have to have a plan concerning yourselves, your own personal safety, and also for your loved ones and your pets. Please don't forget the pets. Some people do, and not all shelters take pets, so these are things you need to check and set up in advance. But that's about all we're gonna talk about tonight on that particular subject that the PPI committee is working on. But there is one thing I'm gonna make the announcement of tonight. There's gonna be a flood insurance workshop here at Town Hall in the back community room, February 22nd, from 7 to 8 p.m. And we will have insurance people. I think Kim, is going to be there. She's going to be there to answer all your questions. I'll certainly direct you to the spot where you can get them. And this will be a good time for you to come in and find out about insurance that's available, what yours is, what you don't have, what you should have, and things like that. And I recommend that this is the first time that I am aware that we put this on, and this is under the guise, I think, of the PPI committee, and putting out more information and all that they can. So it'd be a good time for you to get together, come out, and of course, the more the merrier, and the better that they can do, and more information they are able to put out and give to you. And I would like to ask the mayor now if he would come forward with a proclamation proclaim February as the Flood Insurance Awareness Month. It's critical that we are aware of this. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Holmes. Yes, I will make a proclamation February 2017 be the Flood Insurance Awareness Month.
Thank you, sir.
Is that all you have to say?
That's all I have, sir.
No,
Wait a minute, no, actually, there is.
I thought you might have.
Thank you, I do have one other thing. I don't want any clapping on this next announcement, but this is my last full meeting. Since I was elected in March of 1997. Now, I haven't been here every day since then, but I've been here a lot as a commissioner, as a vice mayor, as chairman of the Board of Adjustments, chairman of the Planning and Zoning, commissioner, vice mayor, commissioner, vice mayor. Anyway, I am, as I said, this is my last full meeting. March 14th is election, and the 15th they certify the election, and then I will step down. And I'll let John speak for himself. So anyway, I want to thank my constituents in District 4. As you know, we are elected by district, and District 4 for all of their faith and trust that they had in me over all these years of sending me back to serve. And I appreciate very much all the support that they've given me. I appreciate very much all the support that my fellow commissioners have given me. Lots of them have long gone, and I'm still here. And I get new ones every now and then, and I get a new mayors every now and then, and certainly Mayor Adams has been a wonderful mayor, I think, and I've been very delighted and proud to work for him. And you're elected by district, but as all of them up here know, once you're elected by district, you really work for the community as a whole. You work for all of the residents. Because your district, they have problems, yes, but most of those are pretty easy to handle most of the time. So you do work for the whole community. And I just want to thank everybody again for all that they've done for me to make my job easy. And it's been a pleasure, and it's been, I've learned a lot, and I appreciate everything you've done. Thank you.
I can, before I call on the next commissioner, I can say I will definitely miss Vice Mayor Holmes. He puts his heart and soul in this. Commissioner Branch.
Oh, you want me to say? Anyway, I'd like to say one thing about it so we can get home before midnight. I second what Vice Mayor Holmes said. This is also my last however many minutes we've got or whatever. And the two men that are running for my seat are here tonight, and I'd like for all of you to afterwards maybe take a few minutes and say hello and find out who they are and how mean they are and all of that thing. One of them happens to have been a fireman, and I don't know about me. The first thing when I came aboard, come to find out that the mayor was also, he was a policeman in Tampa, and we were on runs that were within 50 foot apart, and I was with fire rescue, a paramedic with the rescue and everything. But let's get down to business now. Okay, on the police reports, in case you forgot. Criminal reports were down, while police action reports were up in both towns. Call for service was up dramatically in both towns, largely due to enhanced patrols. Traffic citations and traffic warnings were up in both towns, but parking tickets were down in Indian Shores and up in Reddington Shores. That's good. There was a total of 4 accidents in Indian Shores and 3 in Reddington Shores with no injuries. That's the best part of it, along here. There's no injuries. Physical arrest was up 50% in Indian Shores and down 50% in Reddington Shores. We got ahead on you on that, Chief. Anyway, the one that's people are still calling the police to get the cat out of the tree. And they have other things to do. And there's a lot of them. And then people are asking questions. There's a lot of things that the sheriff, it transfers over to him, and he has to handle it and get his nose into it and so forth. So that is why you don't see the police after there's a certain thing that happens, a robbery or something like that. Sometimes the sheriff comes in, so you don't see the police there or something, and that's the reason why. But if you need explanation, you can go see, I'll tell you that there's our police chief right over here sitting here, and the Chief Hughes, and he'll be glad to invite you. I truthfully want to say I have never enjoyed a job for, I think it's almost 12 years, as much as I have this. I think that the way that it started out was rather simple. Mayor Adams happened to be vice mayor at that time, and the night that I was sworn in, he told me, he said, "Get your pencil and paper. You're on the underground. Meet here tomorrow." I thought, what? What are you talking about? So we both remember tutus from that whole thing. I think every bit of piping that was put in here for a long time was put in 2-inch. And it must have been that it all came from the telephone company, so I think that they must have had an awful supply of 2-inch. But it worked out. On the last house that we had to pipe to, they could not get the big machine with the 4-inch in between, so they split the 2 twos. That's the way everything goes. So anyway, I say it's been a good ride, and working with everybody, I couldn't have asked for I've got a group, and then to some of them that have already retired and everything else. So, I think now that I'll pass it on to someone else, and the main thing is so we can all get home for breakfast, so anyway. Thank you, Ted.
Thank you.
I would like to say too, I do remember that, and I do remember John and I standing out in the middle of the road about 2 in the morning with a big hole in it one night. You remember that, John?
Yep, from the Kenny's Corner.
Yeah. So,
14 inches of asphalt, that hole there, because we couldn't find no dirt.
yeah. But anyway, it's been a pleasure working with those two, and I'm going to miss them. Commissioner Henderson.
How about me? You missed someone. Tapper?
I know his name.
I know it's him.
All right.
First of all, I'm one of the newer commissioners. Except for Mary Beth, and I would at this time like to thank Mr. Holmes and Mr. Branch. They gave me quite an education, and I think without them, I don't even think I could have done my job. And I really appreciate it, guys. You did a great job for the city.
Thank you.
Okay, December, I'll make this quick since John took all the time up. Not Lee. December building permits, we had a total building permits of 68. We had one new single-family home. Total fees were $23,568.91. LDUs were $6,977.99. And we got, I think we got either one for sure or two more new homes coming in for the future here in the next couple months. January's report, we had 58 total permits. Total fees, $6788.40. No single-family homes. And that is it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Capper. Commissioner Henderson.
Okay, well, I've had a few questions about the parks in front of La Vistana, and Steve Andrews, our building official, is actually putting together a new RFP for a design build versus just an architect, because we didn't have the response that we hoped for. So we're going to start over and do a design build RFP. So I'm hoping that this will be started in the spring, crossing my fingers on that one. Also, I wanted to welcome back all our snowbirds, and we're glad you're here, and I hope you're all getting out and enjoying this winter that we're having, and it feels like spring's already here, but I don't want to jinx it. And like Vice Mayor Holmes said, we do have a Facebook. Please follow us. You can get updates. We are updating it constantly, let you know all about flood, any kind of problems, any happenings that we're having. So follow us, like us, do something. We put this out there for you. Use it. Also, I wanted to give you an update on the library, which is going to be a segue to you. We'll have to put the copier second. Is that all right?
Sure.
Okay, good. We've had a good response for the new library director position, and I am also very hopeful that we will have one in place by the end of March. I wanted to thank Sharon Danielson, who's been on the library board for almost 10 years, with me for the last 3, but almost 10 years, but she's going to be leaving, which is segue to you. Mayor. I know who you are.
Sharon? Did you come up here? You turn the barrel.
Oh. Wait, you gotta have a picture.
This is a certificate of appreciation for Sharon Danielson for the, it says, may it be known to all who read this that the certificate of appreciation has been presented to Sharon Danielson for her dedication and service to the Gulf Beach Library Board representing the town of Redington Shores from July 2013 till January 2017. And it has some battle marks on it, from what she's done down there, but thank you, Sharon.
Thanks,
thank you very Appreciate much.
It's really important that we have a library, and I think it's great that the town supports it. And my replacement's going to do an outstanding job, so we will carry
Yeah, we'll
on.
see about that.
Do you want to introduce the replacement?
Yeah, that's who you said. Well, that's right. I know that.
We're doing that, go ahead. I'd like to nominate David Motley to be the liaison from Bridington Shores to the Gulf Beaches Library.
I'll take care of him.
I nominate him.
I need a motion.
Yes.
Just a second.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, end discussion? Hearing none, Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Capper?
Yes.
Commissioner Branch?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Holmes?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes, David, if you just step up here so everybody knows who you are.
Hi there, Dave Motley, living over at 645 182nd Avenue, and I'm going to be taking Sharon's place on the board. So I went to a meeting with her and got my
Oh,
feet
yeah,
wet in the
it was-
pool, and it's a fun pool down there.
Oh, yes, it is.
I noticed the host city was not represented at the meeting, so we're going to have a lot of fun when we get down there. So looking forward to serving the community and
Yeah,
keeping the
welcome
library
aboard.
going.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
Welcome to the funny farm.
Oh, yeah. All right, back to approve the purchase for a new copier. Beth, are you here? There you are.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Fine.
Beth Swain, Conica Minolta, Business Solutions. Do you have any questions, or?
Has everybody looked at,
We did.
I think the thing, if there's any questions, would be whether we do a color carton or a
That's it.
copier, black and white. So I think that's the question for the board.
If it makes any difference, I do live in Reddington Beach, so hopefully that'll give me a little,
We got a lot
that'll give me a little, it was a short drive here, but anyway. Don't hold that against me then.
And what,
I think this kind of question needs to go to our town clerk, probably, because she's the one using it.
Right.
Knows
Yeah.
what Steve Andrews and the building department and everyone else needs more.
Yeah.
I think a color copy of it would be a good option.
Yeah, I did look at your historical volume, what you've been doing. You're at like a 30-page per minute system. The machine the color unit that they're looking at right now is a 36-page per minute, so it's not like a huge, you've got different segments of machines. This is off of the state contract, so it goes out for bid, and it's, Conica Minolta does have,
So we can piggyback.
you are able to piggyback off. You get the great pricing. It's about a 78% discount off of retail. So, and I did say 78, so. So, yeah. Yes.
What's our requirement been for a color in the past?
You know, we've had where we've sent out work for color, and some we just put out in black and white where they would have preferred to be in color, so I think there's a need for it.
Yeah. There's 2 meters on the machine. One's a black and white meter, one's a color meter. You can put limits on it. You can, have IDs to make sure that, people aren't making copies at, odd times of the night. So that's up to you, and then Mary would obviously be in charge of that. And she could pull reports. She could give everybody their own ID so they can log in, log off, that sort of thing. So.
This one, we'd really like to set up to put it on the internet. Did I say the internet?
Your network, and then you'd be able to print
From
directly there. Yeah, so, and then in turn, that would probably say, I know you had, how many other printers? You have 2 other color printers over there? That might help you. Yeah, but those still inkjets, you're spending on a national average of 30 to 40 cents just for the ink to print. Your cost per copy, once you make one color, like this is a color sheet, it has a splash of color on it, it's not full, unlike this one, but you're charged at 5 cents versus the average of 30 to 40 cents, so,
oh, okay.
yeah.
Well, When I see the cost of the color copier, it's $4,911.36. Is that correct?
Correct.
And that includes maintenance?
That is just the cost of the copier. That includes delivery, installation. We come in and help you. We're not on your network, but your IT person needs to help us get into your network because we don't have your passwords to get on there. And then you pay, after that, there's like a cost per copy. So you have a 90-day warranty, and then you go on a cost per copy program. Okay?
Which we're on now.
Which is similar to what you're on now.
You tell me.
Yeah, you're on that now.
It's pretty standard.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm.
So the cost per copy pays for the toner, maintenance, all my guys to come in. I have 30 technicians in the Tampa Bay area. They come in, and if you guys are down, copy quality, we help you out. So,
I'd like to make a motion, we purchase the copy machine, or the color copy machine.
For
what amount?
The 4,000,
911.30.
36, 4,911.36.
Is that right?
that's correct.
That's correct.
And it's in color.
We got a motion. I need a second.
second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Henderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Capper?
Yes.
Commissioner Branch?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Holmes?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, our quarterly.
It's not over yet.
Financial update, Chris Henderson, Financial Advisory Committee.
Lee, used your time up, sorry.
I know, I'm used to this. All right, good evening. Mayor Adams, Vice Mayor Holmes, Commissioners. Appreciate the opportunity. As you may know, we're 3 months into our fiscal year 2017 year. We've got 3 months underway. First quarter wrapped up in December, and so I thought it'd be a good time to regroup. I think the last time I was here was in October. Gave you a quick update through August results, and so here we're standing about 3 months, I think, away from our upcoming budget planning process, and so now is a great time just to kind of get a read on how the town is performing from a revenue and expense standpoint as we get ready for that exciting process, and I'm sure Mary's really looking forward to. So, as we've talked before, there are 3 funds that the town of Redmond Shores uses to maintain revenues and expenses, and so I'll kind of walk through each one individually, talking about the high-level points through the end of December. And so, as relates to the general fund, as you know, probably the largest revenue source for the general fund is ad valorem taxes. It's about 50% of the revenue that comes into the general fund is from ad valorem taxes. So, real estate taxes for residents and businesses here in the area. And so, through the first 3 months of our fiscal year, we've collected about $766,000 in ad valorem taxes. This is an area that we spent a lot of time last year, especially the Financial Advisory Committee, talking about because, as many of you know, we rolled the rate back. We went from a 2.0 millage rate to 1.8, so a 10% reduction in our millage rate. The intent there was to try to compensate for the increase in home values that we've seen in the town, and what we saw is a corresponding significant increase in the amount of ad valorem collections that we had last year. And so it was an effort to try to balance that out a little bit, get some money back into the pockets of our residents, and so that seems to be working as planned. And so, again, we're right in line with our budget through the first 3 months. The 2 other significant areas in the general fund from a collection standpoint, one is garbage collection and the other is Duke Energy franchise fees. Both of those are slightly below our budgeted expectations. Again, it's a little early in the year. We always tend to have a little bit of a monopoly in the first month of our fiscal year as we close out the previous fiscal year and pick up the new fiscal year. Nothing that gives me any reason for concern at this point. And then building permits and plan review fees, this is an area that we always talk about. We're off to a slow start, interestingly enough, for fiscal year 2017. We've been averaging about $7,000 a month. We do have some big projects coming up, so I'm not overly concerned about that. Right now we're about 20% behind plan, but my guess is we had a fairly conservative plan. We'll make up that here as we move forward through the year. On the expense side, in the first quarter, we've continued to do a good job. The town's done a great job in managing the day-to-day costs. And so general fund expenses, about $531,000 for the first 3 months, which is a $70,000 favorable variance through December. And so two of the more significant areas, police protection, which for the 3-month period is about $105,000, which, as you know, we had, thanks to the efforts of Chief Hughes and his team, a reduction, year-over-year reduction. Not often you get to say that, but a reduction of $4,000 over the first quarter of this year versus first quarter of last year. So that's a big positive. And then staff salaries ran about $103,000 for the 3-month period, which is right in line with our plan. So both of those right in line with our budget. And then we had lower costs for professional services and maintenance. So overall, general fund expenses are doing better than our budget. The other big fund that we've got is the capital improvement fund. The primary revenue source there is 1 cent sales tax, so we're about 17% ahead. So interestingly enough, our sales tax continue to exceed our expectations, which is, I guess a testament to folks who are coming in town, spending money. Y'all keep it up. And then LDU transportation impact fee, both of those are ahead of our plan. I think we had one new construction. Interesting, we haven't had LDU or transportation impact fund collections since I think it was March or April of last year. I mean, it's really been a long time since we've had a new home. Again, this is for sand, brand-new construction out of the ground, and so we saw that in December, so we're ahead of our plan there for LDU and transportation impact. And then all the expenses on the capital improvement fund are pretty much in line with plan. The one thing that we did have during the first quarter of this fiscal year is we made a payment on our bank note, and so that is processed in December, so we're now down to about $2.3 million for those who are keeping track of where we stand on our bank debt, which is always a really important thing. I think every town should keep an eye on. And so we've got about 8.5 years left on that $5 million note. So that's where we stand for the capital improvement funds. And last but not least, our favorite fund to talk about from time to time is the sewer fund. And so far for the first 3 months of this year, we've brought in about $193,000 worth of resident billing, which is slightly below our budget from a collection standpoint, but our expenses are even further below our budgeted expense, which is a positive. So first 3 months we had to pay out about $130,000 in county treatment charges. And so again, we tend to see during the rainy months whether we've done a good job of managing the groundwater infiltration into our sewer system. So we still have a few more months before that hits us and we find out whether we've made the progress we expected to make. But again, all in all, the town's expenses are in line with budget or below budget. We have a few revenue categories that we're going to keep our eye on, but overall a very good start to fiscal year 2017.
Thank you very much.
So, thank you.
Before I ask for public comments, there's one more thing I want to say. North Reddington and Reddington Beach and ourselves have been working along with Seminole Fire and Deer Beach and the county to construct a fire station on North Reddington's property, right where, if you know where North Reddington Beach is, Town Hall and their Public Works Department. We're looking at, and we've got a couple of meetings this week, right, Chief? Is hopefully this moves forward. And I only mention that because a lot of you probably read an article in Beach Beacon a week or two ago that mentioned Suncoast to the north of us. And so we've got a meeting Friday with Suncoast attending, and in fact it was called by Suncoast, I guess if I say that correctly. But it's moving forward. I did a walkthrough with Mayor Queen and the county yesterday for a building site over there. Would the building fit there? Would everything go? And yes, it will. I have put out that because our maintenance backs up to their property, if they need that, then we will talk to about that. As of yesterday, they don't think they need where our maintenance shed is. So that's where we are right now. I just wanted to throw that out because you're going to hear talk about it coming if you haven't already heard. So there's more to come. With that,
I have one thing to say if you're not adjourning yet. I just want to talk about the retirement party for those two real fast.
Go ahead.
Sorry. We are having a retirement party for Vice Mayor Holmes and Commissioner Branch on March 11th at Seabreeze Island Grill from 1 to 4, right, Mary?
Yes.
1 to 4. We are not selling any tickets at the door. You can come into Town Hall and buy them. It's $15 per person. And Vice Mayor Holmes has said if there is a financial need and if you feel burdened, he will take the cost of that and pay it himself for you to come. But he wants everyone to come and everyone to feel welcome and...
Sweet.
Yeah, really. You feel really bad.
I hope that's not
Yeah, but, yeah, no, it's not news, Jim, it's only. But anyway, I just wanted to make sure everyone knows and come out and thank them for their service and make sure you come and buy your tickets here.
What time was that?
1 to 4 on the
1 to 4.
11th of March.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
I forgot.
Thanks. Any public comments? Yes, sir.
I have one thing to say.
You want him to buy your ticket?
Yes, I can get Mr. Branch home in time for breakfast. I'd like to make a recommendation in regards to La Vistana Park. I've thought about this a lot, and I think this is a perfect opportunity for the town to have a veterans park. We have that. I mean, we want to do a clock tower. We've talked about artwork. We've talked about, several things for like the centerpiece of the park. I think a veterans tribute, a memorial, maybe a rock with a plaque on it or something that gives thanks to the veterans. I think that would be real nice. And that's just bringing that up. I'd like to see something happen with that. Thank you.
We will take that into
I think we're gonna have, aren't we gonna try to workshop at the end of this month about the park? If we get the bids in and everything goes as planned.
We'll have a workshop on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Our workshop. Right.
If the bids come in and like they're supposed to, we.
Okay.
Big boulder.
Okay. Any public comments? Other public comments? If none, the next workshop meeting is Wednesday, February 22nd, 2017 at 7 p.m. The regular meeting will be Wednesday, March the 15th. It will not be on the second Wednesday. I think this is the third Wednesday due to the election. Regular meeting will be Wednesday, March the 15th, 2017, 7 p.m. With that, this meeting is adjourned.
Wow, that's gonna be long.
I want to give her my check. You going to be there?